drag racing fan? We are live here between the slicks on the Monday Morning Racer platform. Once again on the show in just a few moments, the winner of Extreme Top Fuel at Rocket City Dragway, Michael Anderson. Thank you all for watching Between the Slicks, presented by McKinney Corp. If you would, hit that like button, hit the share button, dive into the comment section, and join in on the show. I am making my way northward to Chi-Town and going to get to the track here soon enough and enjoy, well, first ever visit to Route 66 Raceway. Looking forward to marking it off the list of tracks to pay a visit to for the national event this weekend. In particular, I'm going to be covering Factory X. If you're out there and you would like to sponsor that coverage of that class and putting them in focus on the Monday Morning Racer platforms, reach out. Let me know what you would like to do in partnering with Monday Morning Racer. Last weekend, though, we had in view Extreme Top Fuel at Rocket City Dragway. You can catch that action on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel. Extreme Top Fuel is up there for your viewing pleasure. Round one, semifinals, and final action on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel. You can see it all brought to you by Dove Fuels. So you're going to see a little bit of it later on as we go round by round with Michael Anderson in just a few moments and chat with him on the win. What a great show it was. Last night we were able to speak with David Sharp. David Sharp is the track operator there at Rocket City Dragway, has a big vision for what that old Huntsville drag strip is to become, and events like Extreme Top Fuel there at Rocket City Dragway, they are very much so the inception, the rolling out of this vision becoming a reality. We dug down deep and talked with him on the plans for that facility, and it is a tremendous chat with him, and it is a tremendous vision that he has for drag racing in northern Alabama to bring that place back to prominence once again in the world of drag racing. And it's very cool that Extreme Top Fuel plays a part in that, because they're really one of those big events, bringing a show in, the shock and awe type of factor that David Sharp has been talking about, and they certainly did that with the 8 cars that were on the premises. Stellar drag racing from the Extreme Top Fuel group. Hey, as I've said, presented by McKinney Corp, helping Murph McKinney and McKinney Corp with their social media. Someone that knows social media very well is Alex Laughlin. A lot of partners at play with Alex Laughlin. Last year, he was at the wheel of a McKinney Corp ride, racing for Jim Dunn Racing. That is a McKinney chassis for Jim Dunn Racing, and this is very cool. Alex Laughlin has got it worked out with Hot Wheels and the partnership that he has at Moon Eyes, Hot Wheels, Jim Dunn Racing, and by extension, if you will, a McKinney is now a Hot Wheels car. I cannot wait for this to hit the shelves. Apparently, you can look for them readily available in the 6-pack. And yeah, it might not look like the Dodge that they run. It's certainly modeled after a Mustang. It's kind of the generic funny car, if you will, for Hot Wheels. But that little body does flip up. And when you flip that body up, you're technically looking at a little McKinney chassis for Hot Wheels. That's pretty cool that a legend like Murph McKinney can be associated in some way, shape, or form with the legend that is Hot Wheels. So good work, Alex Laughlin. Folks, for your real fabrication needs, McKinney Corp is your source for all of it. From brake pedals in a door car to the entire chassis of a top fueler, McKinney Corp can fab up what you need in your racing endeavors and beyond. We were just at Rocket City Dragway, and McKinney Corp produces parts and pieces for the Rocket Lab at Purdue's Zucro Laboratories. So from rocketry to top fuelerry, if you will, McKinney Corp is able to fab it up. We're going to take a break and then bring on the winner of Extreme Top Fuel at Rocket City Dragway, Michael Anderson. This word from Dove Fuels presenting Michael Anderson, right here on Between the Slicks.
Fly right in your motorsports endeavors with products and services from Dove Fuels. Pete Dove is the owner of Dove Fuels. He is a racer himself in a nitro-methane burning, fuel-altered, dubbed Back from the Ashes. He races with Driven Racing Oils, which produces a 70-weight nitro oil. But that is not all they make. They make applications for you on the oval track, whether that's dirt or asphalt, and for even you, the bracket racer on the drag strip. And if you need nitromethane, Pete Dove at Dove Fuels is the one to call for a drum or even supplying for an entire series, as he is the official supplier of nitro for Nitro Chaos. If it's nitromethane or Driven Racing Oils, you need to contact Dove Fuels. Gentle name, Hardcore Products.
Michael Anderson, man, welcome to the show once again. It's been a little while. I had you on before March meet of 2023. We chatted with you right here on Between the Slicks, and since then, a lot of drag racing, highs and lows, as we've talked about. Good to have you on.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate you inviting me on. Yeah, we've had some good conversations over the past couple of years on the shows. I think that one I was actually out there walking around in the pits, maybe in my trailer or something like that.
Yeah.
Had all kinds of crazy stuff going on. But yeah, man, super cool. And it was, just now kind of getting over the whole racing jet lag, being gone and rolling and the whole 9 yards. So I'm actually feeling pretty good now. I can tell you, like Monday and Tuesday probably wouldn't have been a good day for interviews for me.
Oh, man, I understand. Not that the show went extremely late, but with the awkward timing situation with Joey Haas in round one and fitting that in, things did get pushed back a little bit. But then I drove back to my girlfriend's house, which was like an hour and a half away. So I got in at like 2. I just now this morning caught back up from the 2 a.m., 3 a.m. getting to bed scenarios. So great show, hour and a half drive afterwards. Probably was not the best thing, but we got it in. I'm rolling on to Chicago. You've hoisted up a trophy. But getting to this point, Michael, is what I want to talk about first. Bakersfield, you're out there, first race of the year, and a major accomplishment for you in your career, running quarter mile with that West Texas hustler dipping into the 5-second range. Yeah,
man. And probably, I mean, we've had this discussion, with you and other people, even, just about, what it takes to get one of these cars to run in the 5s, is an amazing feat and a lot of work to get it done. Whenever you're taking these cars and turning them 10,000 RPMs and running them on nitro and you're working through stuff to try to make it work without just completely burning them down to the ground. It's a major deal to get that done. We worked for a few years, made a couple, made an engine change from the Chevrolet to the Hemi to try to do that. Still not as easy as you think. Went on about it, made some leaps and bounds, get to the March meet. Have a pretty good idea that, hey, we're sitting pretty good with this. Go out there testing, car looked pretty good, and bam, we run that 590 in Q1 was set the stage for us for the weekend. It was pretty amazing deal for me, my crew. I mean, all the way around, it takes all of us to do it.
Certainly, big accomplishment. And from the March meet, I know that I was able to see you at the famed Texas Motorplex, Ennis, Texas, for your first ever Nitro Chaos race. And though I wasn't able to swing by often, from what I could see from the stands and your on-track performance, it was a bit tough for an outing there at Ennis. So from March meet to Ennis, the differences, juxtapose them, how you got the highs of 590 and then you got Ennis, and it seemed like, I'm not digging, but like there was oil every time you went down the track, and it was rough.
So let me tell you how crazy this damn racing is. You would think, oh my God, this guy's tearing his motor up and oil's going all over the place. We go out and we run, and a simple thing of like draining your damn puke tanks. Like, that should be a standard deal. Always do it. Super easy. It doesn't even take that long. So the one deal, didn't drain the puke tanks, right? And then within that, we kept having this issue where we thought oil was coming out from underneath the head. Comes to find out, my right side valve cover was warped about 60 thousandths. And whenever you actually got it up to moving and it started building a little pressure up in there, it pushed the oil out. So we're just sitting there one day, me and James in the shop, just kind of going through some stuff, trying to figure some stuff out, checking to see if the head gasket's all messed up. And he gets a feeler gauge on, behind the valve cover and just runs it in the deal. And this valve cover's tightened down. Well, whenever we pull it up, I put a straight edge on it. Hell, you could see half of West Texas through this crack. So it was a challenging deal. All everywhere. Car ran great. We made some good runs and figured out a few things on the fuel system. That was kind of one of these big deals about, doing this 8th mile stuff, was me fighting all these little deals. And it's so hard to go to, I don't want to say a bigger race, but whenever you're racing quarter mile, it is a bigger race because a lot more stuff happens. Getting all these little things figured out so that I'm not the leaker of the group out there on the track. So hopefully we got all worked out. Yeah, it was a hell of a deal with the oil on the track situation, but had a great run with the old Nitro Clown group over there, and car ran probably the quickest 8th mile it did. Ran Hilton and them in round one, and that car's a real quick car, and we had to hanging up there with them. So it was a hell of a deal, and it was a good stepping stone to go race at Rocket City within a month. So we felt pretty good whenever we got there. And then lo and behold, man, we changed in valve covers and drained the puke tanks, and we ain't putting oil on the track.
Got the right parts and pieces in place and ready to go, and y'all certainly did go and went all the way to a win at Rocket City Dragway. So with these 3 races, this is interesting. I think right now with front engine dragsters, where you all are in the sport, it might be the best time it has been in over 40 years. Since, you had that tide in drag racing sweep over front engine dragsters to rear engine dragsters being the norm, because there was a pit time where it was Heritage Series and that was it. But now you're looking at, you can go race March Meet, you can go race Heritage Series, you can go race a Nitro Chaos, and now you've got Extreme Top Fuel. So bring everyone up to speed on why Extreme Top Fuel, what Jimmy Young's doing, and everybody banding together to go run these cars again in a different way and format.
Yeah, so what's really cool about the Extreme deal, and I guess I'm kind of one of the few guys that can say this. Jimmy's ran at quite a few deals. A couple of other guys have, but Wheeler has. So they everybody's kind of got their experience. But let's just take in this year. And this year I ran with the Heritage Series, I ran with the Nitro Chaos, and I ran with the Extreme. Right. So to have the experience to say, hey man, this is what goes on between all these, the goods. I ain't seen a whole lot of bad yet as far as any group to go run with or any series to go run with. There's always a few little things here and there anybody can say, but in the end, we're out there drag racing. It's supposed to be a good time. But with the Extreme Top Fuel group, it's geared towards the guys that come out of the Midwest, or even it would be East Coast, Steve McLean and them coming in and running their, the big block Chevrolet car. So to travel, being that, I've done quite a bit of traveling in the past couple of years, is cut down heavily for these guys to be able to go to these races. And these cars they're probably 99% heritage legal. If you wanted to say legal, still running the same pump, still running the same blower overdrive, still running the same tires, got to have all the safety equipment, everything that goes along with it. So again, it cuts the cost down for these guys that not necessarily can't, but it helps them out tremendously to be able to not have to drive to California or not have to drive out to Boise, whatever. You're talking about taking a day day and a half, 2 days off worth of driving. I mean, sometimes like whenever I drive out to March meet and I'm, out here in Texas, it takes me, I don't know, 22 hours, 23 hours to get there. And then, in a whole week, 10 days, sometimes gone for 10 days. So these guys can, the races are regional for them. They can, Huntsville was a pretty good hump for them to get down there. Probably, the longest one. You'll have Norwalk coming up, and then Martin, Michigan. Those guys can get there in most of them 6-7 hours. A lot of them less than that. Some of them right around the corner. So it makes it a lot more affordable, so they can get their cars out and go race. And man, these dudes are tough, man. Like, these cars run. I mean, some of these guys run over there on that Heritage side of this deal, and everybody knows that they're going to get down and roll. And one of the fastest cars probably in the country, with Jim Young and them is in that deal. And then you have Sean Bowen show up, and then Mike Taylor's over there, and then Julius Hughes. Julius Hughes got a damn front motor, fuel car that he could dial in as a bracket car. So now the Mill Road boys are coming in with Steve McClain and Joey Haas. I mean, that car's running really good. I mean, there's plenty of them out there that are still coming. There's still more cars coming to join these classes. And that's what's exciting right now to watch is these guys that are getting these front motor fuel cars have these options, right? Like, it isn't just like you get to go race one series and this is where it's at. Some of these guys can't do that. They need a Nitro Chaos. They need an Extreme Top Fuel regionally to be able to ease into this racing. I mean, it's I don't want to say it's cheap. It is probably the cheapest way to run a top fuel car, but in the end, it still costs you a good chunk of change to show up at one of these races. And having the options that Jimmy's put out there, that Chris Graves has got going on, and then with the Heritage Series and everything that goes on with that, I mean, you can kind of pick your demon, man, and see what you want to go do and move around. Try this one, try that one, see what you like. If you want to do some 8th mile racing, okay, we got this over here. If you want to do some quarter-mile racing, we got this one over here. Some of them got both. So, I mean, it's just a good deal all the way around.
Before we dive into Rocket City in particular, that event, your win, bring everyone up to speed on your hot rod here.
Yeah, so this is a 2022 King chassis built by Brian Fox, which is he's on my race team. He's been there since day one. Out of the St. Louis area over there. A lot of people can check him out, man. He's a phenomenal chassis builder. It works out of his garage. He's got a look that he likes to build, and that's why I picked him to build this chassis. There's a lot of them out there. Sometimes you'll see me wearing a shirt that a symbol that Shane Stewart came up with back a few years ago, and I stole it from him. But it's got a high chair with a little X out deal. I wanted to try to go with a pretty I know period correct looking car to come in, because we ran there in the 2000s and mid 2000s with kind of these high chair cars, and they ran along there. Worked great. They're still running. Most of those cars are still out there going, but just wanted to change it up, man. Wanted to make it my own car. Along with, we went with the 417 Donovan, AJ Heads, the blower shop blower, man. Glenn Hutchinson out there. Those guys kick ass. Love talking with him. A lot of help. Direct drive, get it on. 90% nitro front motor fuel car, bud. It's tough for me to say nostalgia top fuel, because the only thing nostalgic about this is where the motor's at. We try to give it the look, but that's a slip joint chassis and with all the goodies in it, man. So yeah, I love that car. I'll be one of those dudes like that you see back in the 60s, like they go find it like that Moonburst car. It'll be sitting in a trailer somewhere in West Texas, that kind of deal. But yeah, great ride, man. And what we found out, the more power we put to it, the better it likes to run.
Well, that is certainly an advantage to put more to it, and it runs that much better. And look, I have to agree with you, and I will say it is challenging as a media individual trying to craft the story, like an intro, for example, of a video. I didn't bother using Nostalgia Top Fuel anywhere because, well, they're not. They are so close to Big Show cars in so many ways. You add a little bit of this, a little bit of that, boom, there you go. And, the closest I can really come to it is, I like to say, neo nostalgia, new nostalgia, because you got that flair where the motor is. But beyond that, that's kind of it. And that's also why it's very handy just to say extreme top fuel. It works out very well to kind of convey that, okay, this is not just top fuel in the NHRA sense on the Mission Food side, but we're doing this differently on this tire with these motors in this configuration, and we might be a little bit crazy, and we'll proudly wave that banner and go race our cars.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons I think that Jimmy and maybe a few other people that had gotten talking whenever that happened came up with the extreme top fuel deal, just trying to get away from that. That persona that these are your grandpa's cars, like it's, instead of like, hey man, like these cars can run 265 miles an hour, the record's like 549 and 270 miles an hour, stuff like that. So, I mean, they wasn't doing that back in the day. It's super cool to watch it, super cool to talk about it, but they wasn't doing that. And to say extreme top fuel, I mean, you're talking about trying to put, Masaminis 3,500 horsepower down on a 12-inch wide tire. Right. I mean, that's pretty damn impressive to think that you can do that. I always love looking at like the top end pictures and actually, there's only that much tire, that's actually touching the ground whenever they're coming through. So they're impressive cars. I think that a lot of information out there gets hung on nostalgia. And whenever you say nostalgia, it means old. Instead of saying, hey man, like you said, extreme top fuel or neo whatever comes out. I don't care, whatever it is, it just needs to be, I think we could do a better way of marketing it. Now, I understand the marker on the side, NTF. I mean, it's hard to say top fuel within a sanctioned event or whatever goes on. You got to have that marker, right? That's why I go with AAFD. You just can't go wrong with that. Everybody knows AA fuel dragster. That it is what it is. But yeah, man, they're super cool. I really I think they would do really good in front of big crowds. Maybe at a really big event. They do phenomenal at these events like we just went to, man. Like that was it was insane to listen to the people come up and talk about it. And some of them never seen one. They seen pictures. Right. They seen, whatever it is, those cars hadn't been there in decades. And to come up and go, you sit right there on the rear end and blah blah. Yeah, like been doing it so long I don't even think about it. It's a leg cushion really, but it was really cool to watch the people come up and enjoy what they saw whenever we were there.
You go across the country, drag racing as diverse as it is, there are pockets of familiarity and popularity. You look at the Carolinas, a northern Alabama, a Georgia. You're talking about door car country, pro mod country, and that's what people are going to be very familiar with. You go to Southern California, they're going to be familiar with a front engine dragster, a neo nostalgia flopper, fuel altered, running a 6.0 index, and that type of situation and scenario. So you bring what you all brought to Northern Alabama. It's fresh. It's new. It's not old at all. And yes, there was certainly that buzz in the pits. I mean, people were hooping and hollering after the throttle wax and the warm-ups, and people in the stands, they were certainly awed by what they were able to experience with the, I'll have to say, first-class racing. The races, other than the odd deal but with Joey and round one and the tree, all the racing was close, extremely close, from round one to the final. And what a fine show was put on by Extreme Top Fuel, everyone that was involved. Do you all, as the competitors, chatting about it afterwards, texting one another, and I'm sure there's group text, and I'm sure there's been phone calls, do you all feel that you brought to Rocket City Dragway what was intended, that shock and awe that David Sharp has been talking about, and that y'all brought a product that helped a drag strip in its march forward back to life once again.
Yeah, man, especially being that, you can market something as, hey, nitromethane hasn't been here since 2005 or whatever the date was. That's a long time to not have cars that burn nitro. And what I guess the start of it, what you could see what happened whenever we did like the Thunder in the Pits, where we go down the line starting these cars up, watching the crowd grow as it went on, watching them being able to get right up there by the car, watching the people choke out. I mean, no different than what you see on, Fox Sports 1, and these folks are able to get right up there next to the car and see it, and the eyeballs are burning, the nose are watering, they're laughing, the wives are mad, the husbands are laughing, the kids are splashing water in their face. I mean, and then not only, they didn't even leave, they just went on to the next one and did it again. So you start the show off like that, it already gives the fans buzz to talk about. Like, I was standing right next to it. I mean, I'll go stand in the crowd just to listen to them talk. I mean, they don't know who I am. I'm just another dude standing there, right? And just to hear what they have to say, and it's freaking awesome, man. Like, it's just, it'll just laugh. It makes me laugh anyway, just to think about, because I mean, I've been there. I was that guy, like, 10 years ago going to a deal, like, man, I'm right here. They're burning my eyeballs. Nobody talked to you. Just, they're working on their car, and you're right next to it. And, to have them like come around the deal, and then, you go get in your car and they're like, I was just standing next to you. What was you doing? I was like, well, hell, I'm just as big a fan as you are, man. I like all these guys, that kind of stuff. So you started off like that, and then it sets the tone, right? It sets a tone. They're excited. And then within a short amount of time, we roll out there, you fire these cars up, and, the way that track is set up, the nitro fumes are, coming up right there, and they're not, I don't know, what'd you say, 30 foot off the edge of the track, man? I mean, like right there. I was telling some of them, I was like, that was down there where we'd start our burnout. I was like, y'all probably about to get like the best show you've ever seen, being this damn close to it, right?
That close, and the angle of the stands give you that like up and over feel is how, a few track, I think like Norwalk, even though they're big aluminum, I think of Indy, they just have like that up and over feel of watching the action. And yeah, Huntsville, you are close there at Rocket City Dragway to the action. I mean, close enough that I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. I mean, if you've ever seen anything happen, it happens with a nitro car, and I'm just like, yeah, right. Well, y'all. I mean, hey, you're gonna get your money's worth if something happens. That's for sure.
Right. So, we're gonna play round one in just a few moments. Give us the build-up. How did qualifying go? Explain qualifying in Extreme Top Fuel, and what were your thoughts going into round one?
So, the Extreme Top Fuel's got a really neat deal where it's average qualifying of your 2 or 3 qualifying runs. Sometimes we'll have 3, just depending on time, deal. If we can sneak one in early on a Saturday and give you another chance to qualify a little bit different, it'll be there. This time we got, 2 qualifiers, one kind of late, a little later in the day, like probably about, 6:30, I think. So it was a little later on in the day, but still good. Sun was still up. Track was, pretty warm at that time. I didn't go shoot it, but I went out there, felt great. Everybody went down there, man, and made some good solid passes that kind of started off. And you're talking about Rocket City as a track compared to. I think I told you this. I was like, it ain't nothing like going from Texas Motorplex to Rocket City, right? Like that's 2 different worlds. And but that's the thing about this deal that was awesome is you can go do that. Like you can go and go race at Rocket City and have a great time, and then go race at another one and have a great time, and be completely different deal where you're not even worried about all that malarkey. Have fun with what's there. And so you go down there, cars leave out. Some of the guys, had been working on their car up to the bittersweet end. So, they were kind of taking that time to even just shake the car down. So everybody got done with Q1. I think Joey ran like a 389, I think, or something like that. And just lit it up. And then after that, it was on, man. Like everybody was like, okay, we got a feel for it. This is what's well. We can get the cars shut down, plenty of shutdown area. Went on to Q2 under the lights. And, whenever that ends up happening, it had cooled off like 15 damn degrees or something like that,
Big
man.
Time. Big
right?
Time. So,
like whenever we were turning the
time,
car around, it was 55 degrees outside.
So much big time that my girlfriend's like, can I get a hoodie? Can I get your vest? Oh, by the way, do you happen to have sweatpants that I can put on? I'm like, yes, I got it all. Here you go.
Well, I was walking around and I was like, damn, it's cold out here. And one of my crew guys goes, because you're not working hard enough. But yeah, man. So, Q2 happens and lit the skies up. I think I got a little loose, pedaled it, got on down the deal. Most of the other guys, made solid, good runs, a lot of mid fours, low fours, just stuff like that. You're fighting that. That's whenever you find out what kind of tire you got, man. So, that ended up happening. Then you take those 2 times, average it out, and let's figure out what the bracket is, kind of deal. And no problems, no major events. Like you said, no oil downs, no breakdowns. Just let's roll.
All right, we're going to bring it up. Round 1 at Rocket City Dragway. Yeah.
So don't even worry about the times. Don't even worry about the winning, right? So in your videos, what I love to do is listen to the people in the stands and what they say, like their comments and stuff. And throughout that whole video, there's all kinds of crazy comments, man.
Yeah.
Right?
and they're looking at it, they're like, wow, that was impressive. And, it certainly was. And good drag racing throughout. And, you went out there and, if I'm not mistaken, you were fastest and quickest of round 1, is what I can remember.
Yeah, it could have been. I don't know what. Because Haas didn't do that. Right. Yeah, because Taylor ran a 399. Okay. Taylor ran a 399, I think, on that deal. And that's my boys over there, old Time Bandits, right there. I was racing and love that group of dudes, man. If there's ever ones that really love nitro racing, it's them, running their big block Chevrolet, iron block, aluminum heads, Huey over there, Dave Belock and that crew, man, like they're hardcore nitro racers. And, the man, the myth, the legend, man, Jim Orban, he kills it out there. So super proud of those guys. They had put a different tire on the car before in Q1 and Q2. Said to hell with it, put their other tire on it, then they laid down their best lap of the race. So hats off to them. I've lined up against them I don't know how many times. So love dudes. Good race. Car went down the track. We got back. No oil. So that was everybody was like, holy cow, that kind of deal. And then serviced the car up, man. No issues, no messed up pistons. We was happy that we were moving in the right direction.
Certainly moving in the right direction. And I've got to say, from a videographer standpoint, media standpoint, Rocket City Dragway in twilight looked pretty. Like, it was a good look of the cars and them going down the track and some sun spotting the track. It was a cool element to be in. But by the time we come to the semifinals, with the matter of Joe having to go up and put a lap out there, it pushed it well into the night, and we were truly into night racing. In particular, with these cars, how big of a challenge is it racing at night? You've got those bright candlesticks out in front of you.
Yeah, I always tell, my guys or whoever's asking me about that, and night racing with these cars is why we do it, right? Like all those old Nitro American videos, and with the big header flames, and then watching the guys from the '60s with the big header flames. That's why you want to make these deals happen, is just so you can eventually get to that point. But in a driving situation, it's really kind of crazy if you haven't done it a bunch. Well, which I have not. A lot of these guys have been doing it for decades, but for me, as on the newer side of this deal, I haven't. So you're already sitting there. You're amped up like crazy. You're watching. To leave on the light. Got it. Blah, blah, you got all this stuff going on, and whenever you mash the gas and those header flames come up there, your eyeballs, pupils move. And it takes a millisecond to get back right? Like, I mean, and then you got to, my car is not the easiest car to see out of already. So, you kind of, fly by the seat of your pants, keep it straight, just make sure you keep it between the mustard and mayonnaise, like I tell everybody. But, you get down there and not only does that end up happening, but whenever you let off and the flames go away, your eyes change. And whenever you, maybe on a track that's a little darker than other ones on the deal, man, it takes you a second to get back right. So yeah, it's pretty damn intense, man. But it's awesome. That's why you do it for, man. That's what, staying behind the wheel and going to race after race after race, it definitely pays off in that kind of stuff.
All right, so there was an issue with the timing boards on that side of the track for a couple of those runs. So I don't recall what you did run and what mile per hour ET was, but nonetheless, it looked spectacular. Everything was lit, clean, both side by side. That was another tremendous drag race for Rocket City Dragway.
Yeah, that was 389 at 207. And, that was I think for where we were at right now with this car and, and what we're trying to do, that was a spectacular run, clean, down the middle at night, probably, one of my cleaner at night runs that I've had, and it felt great, man. Like, it was killer. What I really liked about that video and talking with the fans too, and now whenever you put this out, I could see is sitting there idling at the starting line and the way that light was behind it. And man, you can just see how much nitro's going in the air, right? And like, people are just choking out because it's just going up in the air and just falling right there on all those dudes. I was just like, they're like, man, it's hard back here to even see what's going on because we can't see.
Right.
So
yeah, that back light did some backlighting off the nitro fumes, and it gave that ghostly aura, like the ghosts of nitro racers past or with us on the line. And people are getting choked out and experiencing again. And for a fan base that hasn't seen something like this since the early 2000s, what a spectacular show. And I certainly, along with many of the fans that have echoed in comment sections on so many social media platforms, I hope y'all are able to make that a regular deal. They seem like after they didn't know what they were going to get, but they very quickly got a taste, and they're like, we want to eat more of this, and they've embraced it.
Yeah, that's the thing about, being around Nitro or haven't been around Nitro, or you have been around Nitro, you have been around it a while, and then all of a sudden everything just starts coming back to you. And that was probably, what you heard the most out of people is, like, if I want to get this experience, I've got to go to a big show event whenever I have a track right here that I can go to locally and, and support David Sharp and what he's trying to do on a local level, which I 110% think is a way better route to go. And if we're the group that can do that for them, hell yeah, man, I'd go back again all day long. I mean, I had a great time. It was freaking awesome to be out there. And I've told Jimmy this before, man, and I these grassroots tracks, dude, are killer places to go. And I told him we needed to take our cars down to Yellow Belly down there in Dallas-Fort Worth area where, the stands are right next to the damn lanes, that kind of stuff, and really scare the hell out of people. But I don't know, man. It's just way cooler whenever everybody's up there on you, and close to your pits and up on the deal, and you can hear them yelling and screaming and the whole 9 yards. I love that stuff. The fans is what makes it the best part of this damn drag racing.
Oh, I completely agree. Wes Buck has seemed to stolen the big show at a small church type of saying, but that has been implemented by so many more before any of those events that he's been able to put on, those great events. And there's a reality to it. Mocan Dragway is not the biggest dragway in the world, but Chaos, whether it's Funny Car Chaos or Nitro Chaos, when they go to Mocan, those fans show up and it is packed. And that place has a different feel than the Texas Motorplex. Though there was a crowd there, because it's not packed, there's just something to it, the energy, the vibe. And you had that feeling at Rocket City Dragway, and it wasn't packed. I mean, it was a great crowd, but it was not full to the gills. There's room for improvement, and I think that's going to happen with David Sharp. I think that's going to happen as he continues to put that in effort-wise at that facility, and it's going to be an even bigger show the next time y'all roll through the gates. But there are so many great venues that fit so well for what you all are doing to bring a show in and have a good time, make a little money for the track, for yourself, sell a T-shirt, fans be happy, and get the show and experience. There are certainly so many great venues out there. Well, talking about show and experience, when we look into the final round, it's you, Joey Haas, Chevrolet versus Chrysler. It's the two quickest and fastest, arguably, on the property on race day. And you two both stepped up and put on a heck of a show in the final. I do want to ask, though, with you got March Meet, you got what happened at Nitro Chaos and figuring things out. You go into Extreme Top Fuel, first race of the year. Did you think you would be in the final? Did you feel like you had a shot that day?
Probably whenever we ran in Q1 and the car did what it did and everything that we did to it, worked. I mean, the car was happy. We made a few more deals. I wasn't putting shit all over the track and everything. So, you feel better about yourself. I felt like that, if we could keep the car staying consistent like that, as long as I could drive, we could definitely do something. Like, we could play in the game, right? Like, you kind of know where these cars are with the numbers and where we're going to be at with the track. But it's hell, we were happy, that was, hell, go back first round win, right? Like, the only other time that like I lined up and really won something, that we were really racing was with Gallegos. So over there at the Nitro Chaos deal, but that was still qualifying. That was just me and him talking smack to each other. So, to go in there in a real race, doing what we're doing, racing the guys I was racing, I felt good going to the final. I mean, that's a tough deal, man. There's guys that I've talked to, like, I've been doing this a long time and never won round one or even got to a final. So if I can get there and the car's there, I feel confident that I can race with the guys. My problem's always been, the past deal is just having a consistent car that wasn't tearing stuff up, and doing stupid stuff and it's all self-inflicted, self-inflicted stuff that, stuff that I don't know or overlooked. I mean, just stuff like that. But as far as racing, hell, the driving part of it, I like it. I'll race whatever. I'll race that car to the bittersweet end, give it hell.
All right, folks, we're going to take a look at the final. What a pretty final it was. It was a drag race. Here it is now. Oh man, that's the way it should end, just like that. You got well, a slim, yeah, a small, Alan Reinhart might say a baby whole shot, type of
Yeah.
win or scenario, but you went out there, cut a good light. Joey cut the best light he has ever cut in that car, as he was saying. So, what a tremendous drag race, and what a way to cap off the Extreme Top Fuel first race of the season for this particular outfit. Wow. For anyone that thinks you all only oil the track and only one car gets down the track and you don't put up good racing, this event showcased, oh, no, you're wrong. We can certainly put on a drag race.
Yeah. Oh, I've never felt like that about these cars or this group, man, because everybody's so amped up about that. And I mean, talking about doing 95% of these cars hardly ever do anything that puts something on the track, man. Like there was a lot of times I think that, probably in the late 2000s, mid 2000s, where, they were wringing these cars' necks pretty hard and stuff like that, that there was a lot of stuff that happened. But now, I mean, something catastrophic's got to happen to really screw up the race. I mean, as far as putting something, or, don't drain your puke tanks or have a jacked up, valve cover, something stupid like that. That's normally what it is. But, I mean, hell, at the March meet, we ran along there, did pretty good. All the teams, if you go look at those races, they were close as hell. I mean, you talking about like whenever Hester and Wittenberg raced each other. I mean, they both run like 572s. I mean, it's insane stuff. So if you think that you're not going to see drag racing, I feel like you're sadly mistaken on that. These cars are competitive with each other, and they take not tearing up tracks and putting stuff on the ground very seriously. Nobody wants to do that at all. Zero. And I think probably in the past 3 years that I've been around, that it's really really cleaned up. I mean, as far as getting out there and doing stuff. I mean, last year whenever we went, I think we raced we raced Denver, then we raced Norwalk, nothing, and then I think at Martin, we had one deal where me and Bowen had an issue. Now that was about it out of the whole all those races, and probably pretty close on the Heritage Series side. So, it's fun stuff. Some of that stuff you kind of need to keep it exciting, though. You got to have some fun stuff happen out there.
Speaking of fun, man, there is a happy individual right there holding up the number one. Cool trophy also for Rocket City Dragway itself, to David Sharp and to you, the winner, leaning into the space motif. I like it, and I'm sure that's got a special place for you. And I imagine from you making statements that, like I was able to catch on the video, I'm going back to West Texas. Y'all aren't going to see me for 3 years. That this win means a whole lot. Like, this is a culmination win. This is a representative win for you and your team and all the effort and the time put in. Yeah, man. I can't talk about my team enough. And you had this, and you know how I am about this. Like I'm a competitive individual. I want to win. I've been like that my whole life. And whenever I say I want to win bad. And I'm obsessive compulsive about that stuff. And I put everything into it. And the guys that are with me, James Harrell and Brian Fox and Funny Car Mike and Joseph Harrell and Justin White. I mean, Jared, the guy, my machinist. There's all these folks, man, that have fell into this deal, working their butt off to in the end, to win something. And yeah, it's the driver and blah blah, and he won it. But really, all those dudes, man, like if you don't have them, you're not doing anything. Like at this race, 3 of these guys had never really worked on the car before. I mean, they had. I mean, they're mechanically inclined individuals, and me and James, we threw them there, and dude, they kicked ass. Like for not ever being around it, man. Dwayne, I mean, like just he gets on the bottom end, and he's just rocking away. So
all these guys that have rode this out and all the hard stuff that went along with it, Ricky Marshall being there. I mean, I can go on and on. Chris O'Reilly, helping me with the clutch stuff and shit, man. Jimmy Young, I mean, I can't even tell you how many hours of conversations and text messages and stuff that's gone on. And, I mean, Brian Hall, man, from the very get-go of this deal, all these dudes helped me, get to this point to be able to do this and not selfishly did it, man. It's just dudes, like a bunch of guys that really enjoy something together. There's nobody getting paid to do it. They're just, want to be a part of a team or whatever, whatever's going on. So can't thank all those dudes enough, man, like to be out there and help get to this point. I know that, you'll hear me talk about James Harrell a ton because he's at my house regularly, like enough that it's become so normal that his wife really don't even ask anymore what y'all are doing, that kind of stuff. So, it's insane the amount of work all these teams, all of them, not just me, but all these teams have to put into these cars to get to a race, man. It is an exceptional amount of work. These guys that show up to work on these cars, hats off to all these dudes that take off work to come out there and make a show for all the fans. Because, most of these guys are taking vacation or doing whatever they got to do, just to get there and be a part of this deal. And there's tons of them, man. I can't even tell you how many. There's tons of dudes that just love being around this. And, the driver gets, the trophy deal or whatever at the end. But if you don't have those guys and you don't have the fans, you ain't got nothing. So, hats off to all those guys. I do want to give one big old shout out to my boy Andy White over there at Industrial Engine out there in Abilene, Texas. He does a bunch of work on some of my oil field stuff. He let his son Justin White come out and work on the car, man. Appreciate you. But I'm gonna come by and see you here tomorrow or the next day. So it's a hell of a good time, man. I'm pumped about it. My wife was making fun of me. She took a picture of me. I was laying in the bed with my arm over the trophy and stuff like that. I had the covers pulled up on it. So exciting times, bud. Exciting times.
Yeah, you gotta buckle it in. You gotta keep it safe. Safety first. Things of that nature. So for sure. Look, congratulations again on the win, Michael, to you and your team. Before we do let you go, I don't want to take too much more of your time. When is the next race for yourself?
I sure wasn't hoping you was going to ask me that question. And really, all in all, man, I've been rolling, man, for coming on 3 years, between getting my license. I mean, a lot of people know, and you might have even been there. I bought a whole Top Fuel operation just to get my license and stuff, and then it kind of started from there. But it's been rolling hard, and I'm almost a bit tired. It's 3 races in 3 months, and just getting parts and working on stuff. And hell, I was just happy to get on my tractor yesterday for a few hours, just kind of do stuff. We'll make some decisions here before too long and kind of figure out what we're going to do. I know that I've burned up a lot of parts, man. And if you've been around this enough, that you just don't get those tomorrow. And I don't mean literally burn them up. Just use it.
Right.
Yeah. But so we'll see. I haven't made, I don't think I want to, I don't know. We'll just see. I'm more assed out. I'm getting old. I'm almost 50, man.
I hear you. I hear you.
I mean, look at all this right here. I didn't have all this whenever I started.
I understand, man.
Before we hop off, though, I do want to say this. Big shout out to David Sharp over there at Rocket City. That guy has taken on one hell of a business to try to do. And if there's anything that people can do out there is go out there and support anything that this guy's doing at that track, man, because that's an undertaking. Whenever you decide to sign on to take on any kind of motorsports track, especially a drag strip, and then have as many great ideas as he'd like to implement, it's going to take the support of the people locally and all around. So if he has an event or if he has something going on, I feel like that's really cheap entertainment, man, to get out there and see. And the guys, he's very passionate about what he wants to do with that place. And that's not something you see every day anymore. We all know that stuff's going away. pretty regular. And for a man to step up like that and want to do this kind of stuff, hats off to him. And I'll be supporting him in any way, shape, or form that I can do.
Michael, congratulations on the win to you and your team once again, and thank you for your time here on Between the Slicks.
See y'all later.
All right, folks, Michael Anderson, he's the winner of Extreme Top Fuel, Rocket City Dragway. Our guest brought to you by Dove Fuels tonight here on Between the Slicks, presented by McKinney Corp. Before I let you go, allow me to briefly go over what you all can check out content-wise from the Monday Morning Racer platform. If you want to see each and every pass of eliminations of Extreme Top Fuel at Rocket City Dragway, you can do that right now on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel. You can catch it, brought to you by Dove Fuels. Love to catch Southeast Gassers Association action, cover it regularly. You can see that action on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel as well. We had Quayne Stott on, the last winner of the A-Gas category up there at Killcare Raceway, and it was an interesting and lively conversation, some smack talk going on over some competitors within A-Gas of how they like to pick on him in his little Kermit car, the Anglia he's in, but he went out there and dominated and schooled the now owner of Southeast Gassers Association, Leslie Horn, on the tree in their round 2 matchup there at Killcare. And David Sharp, the track director of Rocket City Dragway, talked to him last night. Plenty of content, drag racing and motorsports wise, on the Monday Morning Racer platform for you to check out. Thank you all for tuning in, chiming in. Hit that like button for me and hit the share button as well. I am Lee Kraft, a.k.a. the Monday Morning Racer. We're going to be heading up to McKinney Corp tomorrow, get some content, and then on to Chicago for the Route 66 Nationals that the NHRA is putting on. Going to be in focus on Factory X this weekend. If you would like to support the Factory X coverage this weekend, give me a ring, send me a line, whatever. Get a hold of me, and we'll work something out. Thank you, each and every one of you. God bless, and keep the pedal to the metal.
If you own a beautiful modern muscle car like this 1320 Challenger, I'm sure you don't want it stolen. Because the Challenger and many other modern vehicles have an easily accessible neutral release strap. That was your coin holder in your central console, and beneath that there's this red cord that someone can pop, put it into neutral, and potentially easily steal your car. But at Destroyer1320.com, they have the TDS, Theft Deterrent System, which is a cover over that strap using factory mounting points so that you don't get popped by a thief. So make sure to go to Destroyer1320.com using promo code MMR for 15% off and get your Theft Deterrent System TDS and steal the thieves' hope.